Hey guys, GSP from GSP Talk Sports. We're back with the roundup of the weekend action. A la Madrid, by the way. Before before anybody comments or talks about thing, yes, Spanish side win, whatever, what going on with the English side. Yes, Liverpool seen some trouble. They have to hopefully they'll come out of it soon, but today El Classico, Real Madrid winning. But want to go back, starting from the Friday. So we had Leeds playing West Ham, by the way. I predicted our Leeds win and got through with the prediction there. Leeds won. So Leeds won 2-1 in that match. And they basically a dominant game for Leeds and more or less controlling the game until West Ham had a late rally and got a 90th minute goal. So Leeds were 2-0 up and West Ham made it 2-1 in the 90th. West Ham, yeah, the relegation looks more and more likely how it is right now. Leeds moving from 16th to 15th and West Ham remaining 19th. Only Wolves doing worse than them right now. Leeds next play Brighton and West Ham host Newcastle. That's Friday. So moving on to Saturday, EPL. We had Chelsea playing Sunderland. Fifth place Chelsea playing seventh place Sunderland. Chelsea. I would have predicted a Chelsea win, and Chelsea lost. Sunderland won, by the way, so wrong prediction. I don't know what's going on with Alex side Chelsea there. So Sunderland winning 2-1. Can't say I'm sad, right? So Chelsea, they had 16 shots on goal, only 10 on target, and Sunderland with much less, moving up to all the way up to fourth place from seventh, right? And Sunderland had an XG of 1.13. Chelsea only 0.89 XG, and Chelsea, by the way, with a late conceded goal for Sunderland to get this win in the 93rd minute. So Chelsea did it to us, now making a habit of conceding late. And so Chelsea next playing Wolves in the EFL, and then Spurs in the league. And Sunderland, they next host Everton. So a nice win there for Sunderland, moving up to fourth. The top of the table looks crazy right now. Moving on to Newcastle versus Fulham, I would have predicted for this a Newcastle win, and so said, so done. Newcastle winning 2-1 over Fulham. They had a 90th minute winner, by the way, and really good result there for Newcastle, who move up to 12 from 14th, and Fulham down to 17 from 15th. So we had Gomez, the winner, 18 shots from Newcastle with an XG 2.14, Fulham with XG 1.53. So Newcastle doing recovering from a bad start, you could say. They next host Spurs in the EFL. That's a big clash in the EFL there. And then West Ham in the league. So most likely there's an extra 3 points for Newcastle. And Fulham next host Wickham in the EFL. And then Wolves in the league. So we see what's going on there with Fulham versus Wolves. Well, in EFL too. EFL action coming up. Moving on the Saturday, Man U versus Brighton. I would have predicted a Brighton win. Obviously, I can't hope for Man U to win any match. Man U makes it 3 out of 3 wins. So with a 4-2 win over Brighton. Danny Welbeck scoring for Brighton, by the way. And how this match went, Man U held off a late charge from Brighton to hold on. Brighton actually came from 3-0 down to make it 3-2, and then Manu scored a fourth in the 96th minute. So doing all right, but I mean, is it they did they turn the corner, or I mean, time will tell. Can they sustain this little run they're on? If it's one thing, if they win the games for the guy who waiting to get the haircut, I'll be glad for him. But don't want to see Man U win no five in a row or anything like that anyhow. So punching above their weight, they moved up from 9th to 6th, and Brighton moved down from 10th to 13th. So strange to see Man U in 6th place. As I said, time will tell whether they can sustain this little run. The next host Forest, and Brighton next play Arsenal in the AFL, big one there, and then Leeds in the league. And then we had another big one, Brentford versus Liverpool. I predicted a Liverpool win, and Brentford won 3-2. Now, I want to talk about this game. Everybody like, oh, Liverpool, and crisis, a lot of things going on, that kind of thing. Um, if you looked at the game, now, I have been saying from the Palace game and Chelsea, then Champions League, um, Benfica was it? And then this one against Brentford. So the well, five losses in all competitions for in the league, right? And it's small margin. So like last week, Liverpool would have lost to Man U, dominated large portions of the game, most of the chances Liverpool would have had, and this is not making excuses for Liverpool should be defending better. We need to work on tightening up that defense and just getting that part back in order, because the guys up front doing pretty okay, but they're not converting. They have a lot of chances and not converting. Similar to like what going on with Naps right now in the in the SSFL. So they need to get back solid defensively and um, try to convert more chances, obviously. But like what I was saying in the match against Manu, there were three bad decisions in that one match. There was the Amara handball, there was the Casemiro possibly sending off, and what was the other one? When I remember. But anyhow, so in this game, a couple of other bad decisions again. So Brentford um, leading 1-0, Liverpool making a habit of conceding early, not a good habit, conceding in the fifth minute. So, and Brentford going and attack you with the long chosen and those sort of stuff. So you needed to be ready for this, and we know exactly what we were getting to. And I remember in the Man U game, the head injury to McAllister, and the referee didn't call off the game, stop the game for the treatment of the injury, and allow play to go on and for Man U to score. So three bad decisions in that match, and then two big bad decisions in this match. Brentford went 1-0 up, as I said, in the fifth minute, and then Liverpool was supposed to have gotten a stone cold penalty. The referee didn't see it. VAR somehow reviewed it and didn't give a penalty. I think it was on Gakpo in the box. Clear penalty, not given. So that was at 1-0, could have make it possibly 2-1. I'm sorry, 1-1. And then um, we did get the sorry, they end up so up that happened. We didn't get the penalty, and they went 2-0 up, and we did pull back a goal in halftime. Cook as the one good thing he did in the match to make it 2-1. So then at 2-1, get them back in the game. Most of the guys not playing well. You could say Slabusai. Well, again, but remember we're missing a couple of the guys through injury and stuff like that. So Gavin Birch, Allison, some big misses. It is what it is. And then somehow they got a penalty. Now the referee, listen, I don't know what him and VAR was watching. This they claimed it was a foul on the line, on the penalty box line, which from all the angles I saw was up in the air. He initially gave it a free kick, right? And VAR reviewed it and gave it a penalty. Van Dijk touched the Brentford man under his foot like the gentlest of touches. Yes, he touched the man outside the box. Man put on a big dive, and and VAR gave it a penalty. So he had a legit penalty appeal going against us, and then Brentford got a bogus penalty to make it 3-1. And well, Salah pulled a really great goal back in the 89th minute, and we were on the ascendancy. But I mean, you're talking about two big bad decisions, and we lost 3-2. Similarly, what went on last week against Manu. I mean, we fighting against what, 15 people, 15 players, the referee and the VAR officials. I will say we could be playing better. We don't have our gelling, our chemistry right as yet. Could be playing Andy Robertson instead of Cookers. Well, Isak is injured right now. Ekitike has to play. Engomoa has to get more chances. Kiesa. The lack of the Magei, well, that signing that didn't go through. And a proper defensive mid when Gravenberch is not there is doing us no favors, along with we not converting chances. So a lot of things went into this game. Are we in crisis? Is the title race over? I'll have to probably make another video on this separately. But for now, that's how it is. I looking at the table. I still have to go through the Sunday games, obviously, but it's a 7 point gap right now between Arsenal and Liverpool, and a lot of people writing off Liverpool at this point in time, but rightly so. What most people would agree is you can't win a title after 9 matches, but you can lose the title after 9 matches. Us losing four straight, so left to be seen. We'll see how this one pans out, and Liverpool needs to bounce back. Yeah, they need to do better. Moving on Saturday in the Serie A, we had Napoli versus Inter. I predicted a draw for this, and Napoli with a big 3-1 win. Napoli moving up to first from fifth, and Inter moving down to fourth from second. So the Napoli ends winter Inter big winning streak to go top, and they're top on goal difference over Roma. Napoli next play Lecce, and Inter play Fiorentina. And moving on to the Sunday matches, well, we had the El Classico, I'll come to that. Moving on in the EPL, we had Nottingham Forest losing to Bournemouth 2-0. So this one, we had, Bournemouth with 13 shots as compared to the Forest 8. And basically, I'd say dominating this game, two first half goals. Bournemouth next they play now prepare for Manchester City next week, while Forest will be playing Manchester United. So they both playing Manchester teams there. So interesting to see how this one progresses after Bournemouth 2-0 win. And just a note, Bournemouth were in third place, yeah, Real, as I said, Real Strange at the top of the table, and they move up to second, Bournemouth in second, and Forest move, well, they remain 18th place. So a huge win there for Bournemouth, and Bournemouth doing really well so far this season. Arsenal playing Palace, I would have predicted Arsenal win, and Arsenal won 1-0 with 39 is a goal, 39 minutes, sorry, and pretty dominant for Arsenal. And they next playing Brighton in the EFL, by the way, and Palace will be playing Liverpool. Arsenal on top of the league comfortably, and are they going to run away with it? It's a bit of a worrying sign, honestly. Arsenal, man, like Neil and them guys, doing really good right now. What I want to say about this is Arsenal, if they have a couple injuries or like lose form all of a sudden, stranger things have happened. Like, strange things going on so far. Have they basically seal the league? Some people saying it's theirs to lose. So we'll see how that progresses with Arsenal. So a lot of things could change. It changed in October basically from Arsenal being 5 points behind Liverpool to now 7 points ahead. So that's a tell you how Liverpool have fallen. And the Liverpool thing too, Liverpool doing what City did last year. So people crying down and anyhow. Aston Villa versus Man City, I would have predicted a Villa win, and Villa won. Thank God. Always a good day to see Man City get beat, and Villa with a 1-0 win. Always well deserved for me. City had more shots, 18 compared to Villa's 9, but yeah. Villa were 11th and City was second. Villa move up to 8th and City moved down to 5th. So good win there for Aston Villa versus City. And we had Wolves versus Burnley. Now this one was kind of heartache for Wolves. It ended 3-2 for Burnley over Wolves. Burnley with a 93rd minute winner. So pretty harsh there for Wolves after fighting and trying to as best as they could get the best out of this game. They Wolves remain in 20th and Burnley they were 17th. They moved up to 16th, just basically out of the relegation there. So big win for Burnley there, bottom of the table clash. And then we had Everton versus Spurs. 12th place Everton versus 6th place Spurs. And Spurs coming off 3-0 winners. Now, I would have predicted a draw in this, so I was wrong with this. Spurs moving up from 6th to 3rd, and Everton moving from 12th to 14th. So Spurs dominating, being dominant, not being the normal Spursy that people are accustomed to. Everton had 12 shots as compared to Spurs 7, by the way. But Everton only had 2 out of the 12 on target. And Spurs getting through with a 2.08 XG as compared to Everton's 1.53. So a really good win there for Spurs. Moving on to Serie A. The game that I would have spoken about was the Lazio Juve. I was going for a Juve win. Lazio were down in 12th. They moved up to 10th, and Juve were 7th. They moved down to 8th. So a big win here for Lazio. Pretty pretty even game and decided by a small margin. So margin, sorry. Really heartbreaking loss for my Italian side there, but still early days yet, and hopefully they bounce back soon. So in Italy, by the way, in on the table, as I would have mentioned before, Napoli leading on goal difference over Roma, both on 18, AC Milan on 17 and third, and Inter on 15 and fourth. Juve all the way back down to 8 right now on 12 points. And speaking about the big one, the big game over this weekend, the El Clasico, we had Real Madrid versus Barcelona, and I would have predicted obviously a Real Madrid win. Real remain first, and Barca remain second. By the way, Real open up a 5 point gap over Barca. Really good, still early in the season, but you know, this game, although it ended 2-1, was a dominant display by Real. I'm so glad that Real finally broke that 5 game losing streak to Barca. And yeah, goals from Mbappe. Then Lopez equalized for Barca, and Jude Bellingham with a 43rd minute winner. So no goals in the second half. 2-1 for Real here, and well deserved. Finally. Um, surprisingly, saying Real only had 32% possession, by the way, but 23 shots as compared to Barca's 15 and 10 shots on target. So Real also had a penalty that Mbappe missed, by the way. It was a handball in the box, but the Barca defender, was going down. His hand was, yes, away from his body, but I don't think he could have done anything differently with his hand. And to me, as a Real fan, I didn't really think it was a penalty. It shouldn't have been a penalty. If it was given against Real, I would think it was a harsh penalty. It was given, and Mbappe missed. Well, it was saved by Chesney. So justice done, I guess. But even so, Real was supposed to. If you think, as I said, 2-1, Real was supposed to win by a good few more in this game. Totally dominant, and scenes of almost a big, well, basically a brawl at the end with Yamal for his comments for the game being taken personally by some of the guys. Danny Caval approached him. I know Vinicius Jr. Um, had some clashes there as well too. And by the way, too, I just want to say when Vinicius was substituted, he kind of get on for the substitution. We don't need to see those kind of things. I think he in front of the fans and in front of the goal and stuff, don't show that kind of behavior. So I think he needs to come out and, well, him or the coach needs to make him come out and apologize for that kind of thing. Yes, he was playing really well, but I mean, Alonso would have made it his substitution for his reasons, and it's a team, So whether it's to keep him fresh for games coming up, rotating players, whatever it is, man should not get on so that's something that they need to look at. Yes, he's a great player and stuff, but don't get on so when he gets substituted. So anyhow, yeah, big win there in Spain. Thank God, Real helped my weekend after Liverpool losing again there, my English team, and also um Juve in Italy losing. So, what are your thoughts on this weekend? Let us know in the comments. Did you enjoy the El Clasico? Hard luck for the Barca people. I don't really care. I wanted Real to win. And a Liverpool in crisis. How you find the English league going so far? So let me know in the comments, guys, and don't forget, like, share, and subscribe on our way to 300 subs. And thank you for everybody for the support. GSP on GSP Talk Sports Weekend Football Roundup.